and welcome back to Anime-chan, where today we're going to be watching my reaction highlights of Dororo episode 14, the story of Sabame, the story of that guy with the weird eyes. So most of my thoughts in today's video I share throughout the reaction, so at the end my review will be quite short, but I hope you will still enjoy the video anyway. Today's video is dedicated to a level 5 patron, Gary H. Thank you so much for your support. I will be watching your requested anime, Drifters, more or less on the 4th of June. I can't wait to start that anime, and I want to know from you guys on YouTube, would you like me to post reactions and reviews on YouTube for the anime Drifters? But yeah, whether or not I post reactions to that anime, I will be posting full reactions to my Patreon dedicated to Gary. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to start my reaction highlights, and then at the end I'll share a few short thoughts. Oh, she knows her own weakness.
ここに入れておくれ。ここなら自分じゃ見えないからね。残りの半分は。
So that's the map? How was it engraved? And I wonder, why did it show up then? We'll find out.
体が温まると浮かび上がってくるって寸法かい。
あったけえ湯に入ったのなんて初めてだったんだ。
これはお父ちゃんの命がけの願いなんだ。お前が受け継いで守っていくんだよ。
残りの半分はオイラのすぐそばにいつもある。オイラが心から信じられる相手に出会えたら、その時きっと。
Because you'd only bath with someone or like be warm with someone and show them your back when you're with someone you truly trust.
これでお前さんたちの道が増えた。え？鬼神どもを切って体を取り戻したとして、金ってのはいいもんだよ。腹いっぱい食えれば心も穏やかになる。食うや食わずの身の上で、それでも志を貫けるのなんてほんの一握りだけだからね。
Because it's like you know the pyramid of survival pyramid? So you like this is Maslow? Yes, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Look at me remembering shit from university, and I think actually I learned this in primary school, not university. I don't remember this being part of psychology curriculum. So first up is physiological needs. So taking care of your body, air, food, water, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. Those are things like almost we instinctually need. And once that's taken care of, once we have the literal basics, we move up to personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. So that's like not just thinking about right now, but starting to think about, a little bit bigger, a little bit about am I safe? Am I going to be safe? And that kind of stuff. Like, basically, we take care of our physiological needs, and then we take care of our the extension of our physiological needs. So that, how do I say this? We take care of our physiological needs in this moment now, and then we start thinking about how can we secure our physiological needs. I don't know why I do that sometimes. How we can secure our physiological needs for tomorrow and the day after and. once we start taking care of that, I think, I don't know if this can intermix sometimes. Obviously this isn't a rule, this is just someone's theory, Maslow's theory. But I think sometimes people seek love and belonging before they even seek the second tier. But anyway, so thirdly, there's friendship, intimacy, family, and a sense of connection, like feeling like you belong somewhere. And then once you have food and water, once you know where you're going to get your food and water tomorrow, and you're sure that you can get it the day after, once you have people around you, once you feel like a sense of belonging, that you know kind of like your place in society, you want to start building that the status. So esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. So feeling like I have all of this now, and you build your self-esteem around that, and you want to feel good about yourself. And then once you feel good about yourself, you feel free to be yourself, to spend your whatever you've accumulated, time, money, everything. Once you feel secure in all those things, then you can desire to become the most that one can be. Then you move on to like, how can I have all of this, and I'm content with my what I need and love in my life and a home and everything. Now that I'm content and I feel really good about myself, I really want to be more than that, and that's when self-actualization starts. And this is this is what everyone should strive for. Not only, I think once we get here, we should start not just taking care of ourselves, but trying to help others at least reach the first 3 tiers. Like esteem and respect, self-esteem, status, and recognition you can't give to someone, but you can teach them how to take care of their physiological needs and safety needs, and you can help them to love themselves and show them that they belong. But that's only something you can show them how to do. You can't give that to them. They need to accept that for themselves. But physiological needs and safety needs you can physically give to people. And then the more you build your esteem, that inspires others to do so as well. And as you reach self-actualization, it doesn't stop there. Like that's something that grows forever. But that's basically making your life a message to the people that are here at the second tier to also reach for their self-actualization. I like stuff like this. But what I think he said here, keeping true to your ambition when it could mean life or death, like Dororo's father did and Dororo's mother did. Even though he didn't have food and water, he put his ambition above his physiological needs. And you can see that as, well, in some sense it can be not so great, because if you can't even take care of yourself, how can you take care of others? But obviously it can also be seen as very admirable. But now they've basically just given that burden over to Dororo. But I mean, if they had used the money that they took from Samurai for themselves, I think that wouldn't have felt good to them. So yeah, it's something not anyone can do.
それでも志を貫けるのなんてほんの一握りだけだからね。けどね、お前さんの背中のそれは人を動かし世を変えるでかい力の源に、要は別の当てができたってことさ。金を見つけて遊ぶもよし、ここらでちょっくら考えるといいさ。なくした体と引き換えに第五の国を滅ぼしたいってんなら別だけどね。
なんだよそれ。兄貴は別に。
I wonder, because Dororo has every right to take his body back, but if he wants, he can let the people continue to live on the demons' facade of prosperity. I don't know if that's how you say that word. But I feel like a lot more people will fall into the darkness that way, and I think it started with Daigo and his son. I don't know about his son yet, but I think that Daigo, because how are demons born? You know, there's the saying in Afrikaans, and I've said it before in one of my reviews. Menyo medicemos en die varke vreet jou op. So if you mix yourself with the wrong people, you become like them. And I think Daigo is, if it's possible for a human to be consumed by the darkness, I think Daigo, for the choice that he made, would probably, if he never makes right for what he did, and I don't think he will, because he doesn't feel bad about it. He never showed a single ounce of remorse, and that's where, because a lot of people say that, oh no, Daigo did it for the good of his people, he did it for the good of his people, but he doesn't show any remorse. That's why it was solely for his own power, and his people being prosperous is just a one thing he needs for that power. Like, it wasn't, do you understand what I'm saying? That wasn't his intention. His intention is just to build power, and I feel like that if he doesn't make it right at some point in his life, he will become one of those demons that he worked with.
どうするの？
鬼神を撃つ。
そうじゃなくてさ、坊さんも言ってたろ？鬼神をみんな倒して。どうしたらいいと思う？おいら。
One more thing, a lot of stuff is coming up for me today. You see how Dororo's parents, although they may not have accumulated as much power as Daigo has, they didn't make a deal with demons to lengthen their own life and the lives of their people. They could have probably made a deal with demons and prospered off of the power of the demons. I feel they could have done the same thing, but that wasn't even an option to them, because they were good people. And although we might look at them as weak because they weren't able to survive during this time, they didn't choose they basically chose death over surviving, doing anything, because they could have used that money, but they didn't, because it would have been wrong. They didn't even do that. So of course they would never have worked with demons, even if they had the option. I don't know if it's an option for everyone. But just look at their lives, the legacy that their lives have, the kind of person that their lives have shaped. And that life is Dororo. Dororo, in the last episode, that person, the carver, described Dororo as the carver was on the brink of death and looked at Dororo's face and said, that is the face of Buddha. Like, you look, something like that. And I think it attests to the lives that Dororo's parents led. They may not have had a lot of power, they may not have been able to keep their people safe, but look at their deaths and the lives that they led up to their deaths bore a child that is as pure as Buddha. Like, and that is the difference between what what Daigo chose to do. Because look at Daigo's children. You think like they're different than Dororo, even Hyakimaru had to do horrible things because of what has been done to him. Like, the legacy that Dororo's parents left in their child versus the legacy that Daigo's life and the sons he's created, compare the what they've left on this earth, just in a small sense. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, but Dororo's father's men died, but I'm talking about the essence of the people, their closest, their children. Imagine if that could be passed on to each next generation, and it could grow bigger and be like Dororo's parents imbued it in Dororo. Dororo will imbue it in her children, and they will imbue it in her children and their children and their children. Imagine, would you rather have a society built up of many Dororos, many people like Dororo, or would you rather have a society built up of many people like Daigo?
なあ、兄貴。おい、
I listen to you, Dororo.
放ってくだされ。
あ、消えた。なんだよなんだよ。兄貴、こいつら何？
鬼神じゃない。
まんま。重い、潰れる。
You just want not anymore. I don't care.
助けてってば。ほら兄貴。おんぶ。これじゃおんぶじゃない。吊るし上げだ。兄貴。
The little monster thing makes you think of, you know how kappa are like these little frog-like creatures that are in Japan's history and lore, myth or whatever. He makes you think of one of those kind of creatures, like not a kappa, but like a kappa, like the same kind of myth or creature.
変わってくれよ。中は黒焦げだ。でも夜露ぐらいはしのげるのかな。おしっこ。冗談じゃねえ。そこまで面倒見きれるかっての。おしっこ。おしっこ。
Oh, it's fast for how big it is.
しろってそのぐらい。わしっこ。
This is kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. That. Ugh.
油？ここが燃えたのってまさか誰かが火を。ママ。お前、オイラたちも腹ペコなのにバケモン用の飯なんて。あ、まさかお前の飯って。兄貴。
あなた方は知るまいが、ここは夜は危ない。あやかしが出るのでな。
あやかし。
よろしければ私の屋敷に来なさらんか。
His face is odd.
我が里のうちで人が食い殺されるのをみすみす。
What does he look like?
私はこの辺りの里を治める
The story of Sabame.
と申す。
He's got red outlining.
大番でガンス、サバメ様。
夜回りですかい。相変わらずご精が出ますの。
なん
のわしらも安泰ですじゃん。
そういえばあいつどこ消えちまったんだろう。
Ooh.
田舎芸でしてな。お気に召さぬかな。
おかわりてんこ盛りで。見ず知らずのオイラたちにこんなにごちそうしてくれて。
旅の者の話を聞くのが好きでな。私はこの地を離れたことがない。
Don't.
あそこにはかつて尼寺があってな。住職は近隣の里から身寄りのない
They don't look very happy.
聞かねばたちまち。そうして何年かすると天罰が下ったのだろうな。あるよ、本堂に稲妻
One day the heavens had enough of
あ
it.
っという間に焼け落ちてしまった。
ひでえじゃねえかい。子供たちまでみんな。
Because
もう少し早く。
if this is true, it seems to be like if you do bad things, you don't just hurt yourself, you bring misfortune down upon, like how in a certain magical index, his hand, it like doesn't just affect him, it affects the area around him. Like your energy affects it. Like, you know, when you meet someone and you just, whenever you spend time with them, they just bring you down. Imagine spending like a year, having to live with a year with a person who makes you feel like that. You just become depressed. And if you keep doing bad things and putting bad energy into the world, you bring misfortune upon not just yourself, but it affects everyone around you.
あやかしは 住職の慣れの果てだ。成仏できなかったのだろうな。夜
Is
な
it
夜な
though?
現れては。
オイラたち食われなくっておっさんのおかげだよ。
それは何より。
さっきの話どこまで本当だと思う？
女の霊は違う。
だよな。
いずれわかる。
来ると思う？鬼神がここに。寝ちゃった？
これはお父ちゃんの命がけの願いなんだ。
どうしろって言うんだよ。
それでも志を貫けるのなんて
That's what your mama
一
did.
握りの人間だけだからね。
仕方ねえじゃねえか。どうして死んじゃったんだよ、おっかちゃん。
Because the world was a cruel and horrible place that was hard to live in for someone that chose so hard to be just. And it's because too many people choose to be cruel and horrible and do things in the wrong way. And that just brings misfortune upon the world, and it makes it more difficult and more difficult for just people to get by. And that's why eventually someone like Dororo, who is in a way just but also dangerous, like he can easily also lose himself to the demons. I hope that makes sense. Like, let's say you have 5 good people and 5 people that choose to cheat and, you know, take the easy way out. Like Daigo chose to work with the demons instead of finding means to do things without giving up his humanity. Because once you sell your child's body to demons, you've lost your humanity. Especially for the fact that he didn't even feel sorry about it for a second of his whole life. So imagine you have 5 good people, 5 bad people, and then these 5 bad people, like, hate and love are 2 really strong energies. And you can do a lot. Like with anger, you can accomplish a lot through anger. If you feel angry, if you want to take revenge, you can do a lot more and accomplish a lot more with that feeling than you could by feeling depressed, for example. Like if you're sad, you can't, like, you feel like you don't even want to do much. But if you're angry, you want to do stuff and get back at people and da-da-da-da. So love is hate is a very powerful emotion, and love is a very powerful emotion. You can be happy, but happiness and goodness doesn't always get shit done, whereas a strong sense of justice and a strong sense of passion or love for someone or something also can get a lot of things done. So imagine if there were like 5 good people, 5 not so good people, and these are like all driven by revenge and da-da-da, and these are all good people and they do good things, but now by doing bad things, they make it harder for these good people to just get by. And like Dororo's mom, she was a good person, but because of all the lords and the wars and the fighting and like bad people in the world, it makes it harder for the good people to just get by. But that's what superheroes are. They are these people, they symbolize these people with a strong sense of justice, and often in superhero movies, they only overcome the great evil through love for others, for the world, for whatever. I mean, what didn't in that one movie Superman was able to do more because he wanted to save the person he loves. Like, love and hate are 2 strong things, but strong evil can easily overtake just goodness. He's been awake this whole time? Oh, it's that guy! It's that guy! Because he's a bug, he's got bug eyes! Oh. That's why he invited them, and he wants to hear their stories, but he actually just wants to eat them. Oh, he called the big brother or some shit. Oh, that was a pretty visual to see both his eyes. Don't breathe it in!
芋虫よ兄貴。この粉なんかピリピリするけど毒じゃないよね。
洗えるか。
Sabame sama.
It's the woman with the blonde hair, isn't it, from the intro?
食えますなんだ。あれは手強い。
撃ち漏らしたというのか。
よもや取り戻しに来るとは。
The one, the 12th, could not devour. It has come.
いかな相手であろうとも、この地とこの地に生きる我が民のために。
You're being fooled by that demon, you little stupid head. You're being fooled by that demon. He's been associating himself with a freaking demon. Don't think you can get off that easily. Oh, this is a really lovely song. I'm going to listen to it afterwards. Mamai Omba. Okay, it's time for my few short thoughts. I really won't be saying too much today because I feel like I paused quite a lot during the reaction, and I'm sorry for those of you that don't enjoy that, but that's the best way that I can watch anime. I love to pause and think about the stuff that the anime brings up for me. Otherwise, as I've said in the past, the anime keeps going, but my mind is thinking about all this stuff, so then I don't notice what happens in the anime. So it's almost like, you know how you read a book and you can read a few chapters and then put it down and, I don't know, think about what you read? It's the same thing for me when I watch anime. It depends from anime to anime. I don't do it for all anime. But something like Dororo, which makes me think quite a lot, which has these philosophies embedded into the story, I definitely feel like sometimes I close the book and I have to talk about it with someone, and then, I can keep watching after that. So for those of you that did watch through the reaction highlights and all my thoughts, let me know what you thought about the things that I said, if anything specific stood out for you, and if you want to respond on any of it. I think the only other thing that I can mention for today is that I really enjoyed the episode. It did feel towards the end like it should have been a part 1 and a part 2. I think in the past twice there's been like pair episodes. Like episode 6 and 7, or was it 5 and 6? 5 and 6, I think, and then there was another 2 episodes. I don't remember exactly which 2 those were, but I think that this almost could be the same thing. And then I found a word that describes Dororo for me. In the past, I've said that Dororo sometimes feels like you can almost watch the episodes by themselves. Like there is a main story that you can follow, but you can, even if you just watch like episode 8, you can get a story from that if you just know who the characters are. So it's almost like episodic. So episodic, if I'm saying it correctly, episodic, it isn't really, I think actually it is episodic. Let me explain. Containing or consisting of a series of separate parts or events, an episodic narrative. So for example, I don't know if I'm understanding it correctly, but if any of you watch something like How I Met Your Mother, The Big Bang Theory, it's like, as long as you know who the characters are, you can watch episode 10 and then episode 12 and then episode 15, and you can still enjoy or learn something from that episode, as long as you know the characters. It's not like Game of Thrones where you have to watch each, like they follow on each other, you know? And that's how Dororo feels for me. It's not exactly that, because there is a very strong storyline that you need to follow, but it definitely has an episodic feel to it because of how these little stories, each episode is like a unique little story in and of itself, because we get to meet these different monsters and peoples and ghouls and tribes and, I don't know, groups of people, and like they each have their own story or monster to face, and Dororo and Dororo and Hyakimaru go along and they defeat and help all these people, defeat the monsters and help the people and but they're also on their own journey, and that's what we're following. But I hope you understand what I mean when I say it's episodic. It gives me an episodic feel because I feel like I can watch these episodes even in a different order, most of them, and I can still, you know, learn something from it, and it can almost be its own standalone story. Like, you know how when you're little you had a collection of stories that are myths, or, you know, these fairy tales. Not fairy tale, the anime, fairy tale. So you have this fairy tale book and you read all about these different, I don't know, the Princess and the Toad and Beauty and the Beast, and like you have all these different stories. But with Dororo, you have these two characters that are in all those stories and that have their own story, but you get to meet all these different, like, you know, like the story of Baneman, the story of Banmon, the story of this. You know what I'm trying to say? I hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And the point of why I'm trying to say it is because that's something that really makes Dororo special for me and why I enjoy it so much. Okay, so I'm looking forward to the next episode, to seeing what happens and what do they mean by the children, and is this demon moth bitch, is she fooling this guy, and has she tricked him? Like, we can all say, like, if we've done bad things, let's say our friend tells us, let's go steal candy, and you know it's wrong, but then they say, but that shop makes so much money, if we just take 2 pieces of candy, it's gonna be fine. They're not gonna know. And then you're like, no, I don't want to do it, and I don't want to do it, but you keep hanging out with that friend and they keep asking you, but you keep saying no, and you're like, no, and then they tell you, let's just go to the shop, I want to buy some candy. And then he buys candy, but he puts 2 pieces of candy in your pocket, and then afterwards he shows you, look, we stole it and nothing bad happened. And then you've been fooled. But why do you keep hanging around? Like, why did you mix yourself up with someone like that? You need to stand up for what's right. You need to tell them, no, this is wrong. Why did you keep spending time with them when you know that they wanted to do something really bad? This is a silly example, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? So even though that guy might have been tricked by this moth woman, at the end of the day, we kind of let ourselves be tricked sometimes, and then I think that's why he was reddish, but he wasn't a demon or a ghoul or anything, but he definitely isn't innocent in the whole thing. I'm not exactly sure what the whole thing is, but that's what we're going to find out in the next episode, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. So now we've come to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching with me and listening to my thoughts, and once again, thank you to Gary H for sponsoring this video. Bye!